Tiffanie, I'm going to start with the picture. You're an animator, but you're one of, I think, over 100. How many?
Yeah, there's 130 painters total.
130 painters. So tell me first how you became involved with the project. With that many painters, I believe brought from all over the world.
Yes.
Was there an audition process in essence, or what was
Yes.
it?
So basically, I worked on the film from May to beginning of November, end of October, beginning of November last year. And I just saw ads for it on Facebook and everywhere. And I saw the project and I thought, this is amazing. It's totally, I studied animation in school, but I love, I also do traditional fine art hand painting with oils. So I thought, how cool it would be to work on this project, and I applied, sent in my portfolio. Didn't really think I'd hear back. One of those projects where you go, oh, it's really cool, but of course I'm not, that's too cool for me. So I actually didn't hear back for 2 months, and then Magda, the production coordinator, contacted me, and she goes, well, we really like your work, and we'd like you to come to Poland to test for the film. And I go, oh, okay, that's awesome, but I have to fly to Poland? So I did end up flying there. I made a decision in about 2.5 weeks. It was very spontaneous. And I flew there on May 21st, and then I tested as a 3-day test. And it was the hardest test of my life. I studied animation in college at USC, but I had never done anything like frame-by-frame painting, hand-painted animation. So it was definitely new for me. And, I really didn't think I'd pass, but I did end up passing, and then after that, you'd go through 2 weeks of training before you're officially on production. So that's the process.
So again, you're saying frame by frame, and you're using oils.
Yes.
So what were your tools that you were handed, and how were you given, since you're one of 130, how were you given the style and or the look of the film to follow?
So to answer your first question, we just had brushes and Royal Talons paint, which you saw in the end credits. A total of 6,500 tubes were used of paint, and 1,300 liters, I believe. So quite a lot of paint. And those Van Gogh paints, which are excellent paints. And we just used a variety of brushes. Whatever scene we got, you decide what brushes you need. All those supplies were given to us. We're in charge of mixing our own paints. And like your second question, basically, we're given design paintings to paint our scenes. So about 4 years before, they have these amazing design painters that break down the film, and they create these paintings based on Van Gogh's original paintings to, set the look of all the distinct locations in the film. And then they would give those to us painters along with original Van Gogh references, and we would look at that and work with the director. Director works with each and every one of us, and we paint the first frame. We send it to the director, Dorota, for approval, and it's sort of this back and forth, getting that look right before you start animating. But there are design frames painted by painters, and of course, original Van Gogh paintings. So that's really what we had.
They mentioned live action reference, that they shot some live action reference.
Yes.
Did you get to see that, or
no? So that was shot way before.
So you had to work with basically just the look of the character?
Yes. So they shot the whole film in 2 weeks in London. This was way before I was brought on, a few years before. I think 2012. I think
that would be about right.
About right, yeah, something like that. And then, so basically, us painters, I don't know if you guys have seen pictures of the pause stations, but we have our own little station, and there's a camera that projects the live action. However, you guys might think, like this is just straight up rotoscoping. It's not, because we did have the vague reference of the actors, acting, but a lot of it shot on green screen. So it was up to us painters to recreate the backgrounds based on the design paintings. None of that was provided for us. It's not, it's not in the original references of the live action. Everything was mostly shot on green screen. So we had to recreate, the backgrounds, the, landscapes. A lot of times when it's not in a Van Gogh painting, we work with Dorota to go, how would this look in this particular shot or angle? So that in that aspect, we had a lot of artistic.
So you're painting on a canvas?
Yes, you paint on about 3 feet by 2 feet canvas. So it's in your room. So we have each have a little station, and it's this canvas. We have a computer right in front of us. So we work with Dragon Frame. So you paint every other frame. You take a picture, scrape off the whole frame or part of the frame, depending on how much movement there is. Paint the next frame. So every first, third, fifth, seventh, so on. Yeah, but it's all on one canvas.
So every time you make a new frame, you're destroying the frame.
Yes, you're destroying the
before.
painting. So you're basically painting each new frame, however many scenes, like shots sometimes have, 150 frames to 600 frames, So you're basically repainting each frame on the same canvas. The hardest part is probably scraping off everything, getting it clean so that the next painting you do is not muddled and doesn't have the previous, colors, because we have a rule that, oil paint gets dry, so you have to scrape off every third frame no matter what, even if there's little movement or a lot of movement. So they're very strict on that because when it dries, it doesn't look good. So.
Let's go on to the sound for a while. First of all, how did you become? You've done a lot of live action. You work with Darren Aronofsky, Black Swan, and Requiem for a Dream. Could you talk about how you became involved with this project?
Yeah, Dorota, who wrote the script and directed the film with her husband Hugh, had started this journey, if you like, in 2008. She had put together this idea, and she wanted to do. She was going to hand paint it all herself, I think, at first. When she would do this short and hand paint it all herself about Van Gogh. Hugh had won an Oscar in 2008 for a short of Peter and the Wolf. So Dorota had contacted him and sent him his stuff because she thought he might be, open to it. And he saw it, and he thought it should be a feature, and there was more going on here than a short. So they sort of started that journey, in 2008. And when Dorota was writing the script, she said that she didn't listen to any other music but mine, and she had given the producers, I guess, a bit of a heart attack by refusing to even discuss the option of somebody else scoring it except for me, which, is amazing. It's like a real honor, that somebody felt that strongly about my work, But this project kept coming up, and I must admit, I'm going to, it sounds terrible, but I couldn't really get my head around it at first, and I had it came up at a time.
When did she first contact you?
I can't remember, but it was probably about 4 years ago, I think, when it first started coming up. And then I play live shows with a 9-piece band performing my film scores, and Ivan, who's one of the producers, came to a show in London in 2014, that was. And that was the first time I thought, okay, when I spoke to him, I kind of get it, But then I met with Hugh and Dorota about a year later, the following August, I think it was. That had been in the October of 2014. And I met with them in August of 2015. So they showed me then some rough footage of the live action stuff, and then the first lot of stuff that actually had some painting done to it, so I could sort of, okay, I get it, I sort of see what's going on now. And then when I'd read the script, and it had this sort of murder mystery vibe about it, and obviously a lot of speculation, but it just held together really well, I thought. And as I said, if I'd have said no, I'm not doing it, I don't think Dorota would have accepted that anyway. I think I'd have had to have done it, whether wanted to or not.
Thank you very much for your work.
Thanks for having us. Thank you.